Welcome back to the Reidel Law Firm Odyssey channel. Today I want to chat a little bit about, do attorneys break deals, right? So this topic has come up with some of our conversations with our strategic partners in the franchise industry in particular, with like franchise brokers and some of the franchise consultants. This is also relevant for like customs brokers, right? And others in the international trade industry who broker international deals and products and such. There's a concern a lot of times where you maybe want to bring in an attorney, but you are afraid that that attorney, maybe because you've had a bad experience with an attorney, who is going to go in and break the deal. So I want to address that a little bit here, talk about two different facets of that. Before I do so, if you need help in franchise, or whether you're trying to join a franchise system or trying to franchise your concept, or you're a franchise broker or a franchise consultant and need a trusted strategic partner, reach out to Reidel Law Firm. Same in the international trade space. If you're a customs broker, or if you are a product dealer, a sales dealer dealing with products coming in and out of the country, and you need help with understanding maybe some of the commercial terms and understanding that import process, reach out to us. That's what we do every day. We love it, and we'll be sure to help you. Make sure we can take care of you. So that's what we love doing and helping our clients. So, do attorneys break deals? Let's chat a bit about that. So the first facet is, do attorneys break deals? The answer is yes, maybe so, right? So that's not something that we do, that we aim to do in our practice in Reidel Law Firm, but it is a fact of reality. There are some attorneys, for multiple reasons, who maybe get involved with a deal who end up tanking it. So the reasons behind that could be a lot of things. Primarily, what I see the most, honestly, is that these attorneys are not experienced in that area of practice. So in the franchise space, maybe we're representing a franchisor. We have an attorney representing the franchisee who steps in, and they are not a franchise attorney. And they're not aware of the franchise agreement terms that are typical or the industry practices. And sometimes they're not even aware of what the federal and state rules and regulations are that are applicable to franchises, because franchises are very regulated. They're not like a mom and pop shop or any other business. It's very important that you understand that. So that, honestly, in my experience, that is the case when attorneys step in and deal with a transaction and end up tanking it. Other factors may be that maybe one of the clients on either side is unreasonable, and maybe that attorney is not in a position to help counsel their client through their unreasonableness, whatever that looks like. So attorneys do sometimes break deals. It is not something that is good, I would say, unless it's a bad deal, right, or whatever. If it's patently illegal or patently unfair or egregious, then that's a good situation where a deal is broken. But generally, in the franchise space, that's not the case. It's usually because attorneys step in and maybe don't have that experience. So that's where we at Reidel Law Firm can step in and bring that expertise to a potential franchisee and help guide them through the customs of the industry, the regulatory scheme, and what's typical in franchise agreements. So that's our philosophy. And we have a video on our channel as well about our franchise review process. I encourage you to check out, which kind of dives into our philosophy for that. So that's the first aspect of do they break deals? Yes, sometimes. The other aspect of it is no. Attorneys do not go into a deal. The vast majority of attorneys, I'll caveat that with, do not go into a transaction looking to break the deal, right? We don't go into it saying, all right, how are we going to crush this? How are we going to impose our will on the other side, or nothing gets done, right? That's not the attitude that the vast majority of attorneys will take. Now, some attorneys will come in maybe with that lack of experience and lack of industry knowledge, and inadvertently end up in that position where they feel like they're taking a reasonable position in their mind and their understanding, but is not acceptable in that industry, right? For instance, maybe it's franchising, and maybe they are arguing about removing a personal guarantee or removing liquidated damages, just striking it, as opposed to working it out and maybe modifying it slightly to fit their client's needs and how to mitigate their client's risk. So yeah, they step in, they take a reasonable position that they should strike that. And honestly, in the franchise industry, that is unreasonable, right? That's not exactly something that is acceptable typically for a multitude of reasons, and we'll talk about that in another video. Yeah, so that's their mindset. They're coming in not to break the deal, but they're coming in probably with a lack of experience, probably not understanding some facets of the industry, and trying to be reasonable and protect their client. So that's why it's important to have attorneys involved in your transactions who understand the industry, who understand the law, the regulatory scheme, so that it will ensure a smooth transaction, whether that's the right transaction at the right time and things get done, or maybe it's not the right transaction, right, and things don't happen. If you have an attorney who is knowledgeable and experienced, at least you can trust that it's going to be the deal is going to get done if it's right. It's not going to fall apart because of the personality of one attorney or another. So, and then I'll bring this back to international trade just before we let you go. And in regards to international trade, so I've seen deals come onto the table where it's a very what's the right word? I would say shady. It will be a shady deal that is unusual, where the transaction terms are not typical for the industry. We saw this a lot during COVID in regards to PPE equipment, so the protection equipment and masks and gloves and all this other stuff, where everybody needed it, the prices were through the roof, nobody had it, and everybody was trying to be a middleman and get their cut. And just there was a lot of weird things going on, and there were scams. Frankly, there were scams, and I was involved in reviewing of some of them and uncovering that these were not legitimate deals. And sometimes I could usually get a good inkling of it, right? I could get a good sense of whether it was a good deal or not, or whether it was legitimate before we even, had to put boots on the ground. But that's where a knowledgeable attorney works, right? And really provides value to you, is that looking at the documents, looking at the transaction structure, we're going to have an eye pretty quick on whether it's shady, whether it's not, whether it's going to fit the typical terms, and what steps we may need to take to mitigate risk for our clients. So that's what I want to chat about, just talking about, do attorneys break deals? I know it's a big concern for some of our strategic partners when they ask about whether we can help some of their clients. And so I wanted to share a little bit about that. I encourage you to check out our video about our franchise review process and kind of the philosophy behind what we do for our franchisee clients. And then we'll also have another one in the near future about our import and export compliance process and helping those clients. So I just want to share a bit about that. If you think we can help you out as a strategic partner in the franchise or the international trade industry, please reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you, hear your story, see what you do, and see if we can be the right fit for you. Till next time, we'll see you then.